Okay, students, Mr. Womack here, and I'm going to go over some basic features, do a basic tutorial on Solidworks. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about here at the welcome screen is the menu bar. And the menu bar is right up top here. You see this arrow right next to your red Solidworks. If you hover your mouse over it, it will open up your menu options, the written menu options that you're familiar with. And at the end, there's a push pin. I always like to click on that push pin so I can see those menu options. Now, I have the menu bar, and this is where I would open up a new part. So I would go to File if I want to open up a new part, File, and then New. And then this document window opens up, and I can open up a part, an assembly, or a drawing. So most of the time we're going to open up a part. So you can double click on here, or you can actually make sure it's chosen and hit OK. So I'm going to double click on part, and now SolidWorks opens up to its working field. So the next thing I want to mention to you is this area here. This area here is called the Command Manager. The Command Manager. And this is where all your command tools are. So if you kind of think about it as I am commanding SolidWorks to do an extrude or a revolve or a sweep, this is your Command Manager. So if you ever hear me mention, go to your Command Manager and click on something, you know it's in this area here. There's some other thing I want to make you aware of. These are your Command Manager tabs. So you have a number of tabs here. One says Features, one says Sketch, one says Evaluate. So if I click on Sketch, you see that the command tools, the Command Manager tools, change based on the tab that I have chosen. If I go back to Features, these are the tools for the Features tab. These are the tools for the Sketch tab. This is the Command Manager. So if I were to say, go to your Command Manager, click on the Sketch tab, then you would go here on the Sketch tab. So let's open up a brand new sketch. Okay, so let's go ahead and make something. So we're going to go to our Command Manager, which is here. We're going to make sure our Sketch tab is clicked. Here's our Sketch tab. And we're going to choose the Sketch tool. So if we go up in our Command Manager and find our Sketch tool, up there it is. It says Sketch. So we're going to click on that. When you click on it, you have 3 different planes that open up. Front plane, top plane, and right plane. You always want to choose, in our classroom and for our purposes, you always want to choose the front plane. This one. Just hover over it and make it highlighted and then click on it. And now it's the front plane. Now, here's my next command. In my Command Manager, let's use the rectangle tool to make a rectangle. So here's my Command Manager. Oh, and here's the rectangle tool. So I'll click on the rectangle, and I would bring that over. Do you notice that there are these 2 arrows here? This is your Y going up and your X going to the right. And we want to click right in the middle of where those 2 meet. And there's an orange dot that shows you where that is. So I'm going to click and release, and then I'm going to make a rectangle. Okay? Now, I made a rectangle, but I don't know what size this rectangle is. I'm going to show you a new command in your Command Manager, a new tool. It's called Smart Dimension. Smart Dimension is how you can size your geometry shape. If it's a circle, if it's a square, if it's a triangle, whatever, you can use Smart Dimension to size it. So let me show you. So click on Smart Dimension. I'm going to click on Smart Dimension, and I want to make this rectangle a 2 by 4. So I want this line to be 2 inches. I want this line to be 4 inches. I have my Smart Dimension chosen. You see it's grayed out. I'm going to touch this line right here. I'm not pressing. I'm just putting my mouse on this line here. You see how it turns this orange yellow? Now I'm going to click, and then you see a number here. The number says it's 2.07, and that's the size of that line right now. So I want to change it to 2. So I'm going to click again. It opens up this modify box, and here's the number. I want to take it out, so I'm going to change it to 2. I'm going to hit the check mark, and now this line is 2. Now, my smart dimension is still chosen. I want to change this to 4. So I'm going to touch this line until it changes. I'm going to click. Right now it says 2.54. I'm going to click again. I'm going to take this number out and I want to change it to 4. Now watch what happens. I change it to 4. I hit my check mark and it changed to 4. Uh-oh, something happened. It's 4 inches long, but I can't see it anymore. That's fine. I did that on purpose so that I can show you a new feature on Solidworks. This is called our overhead toolbar right here. This is our overhead toolbar. And the first tool I want to show you on the overhead toolbar is this first one. And if you hover over it, it says zoom to fit. It has a magnifying glass on it. If you click on it, it'll bring your picture or the thing that you made right back to the center each time. So zoom to fit. If your project should go off of the page, you can always click on zoom to fit. Now I have my rectangle. It's a 2x4, as you can see, and I'm satisfied with it. So what I want to do is I want to kind of save these changes, and I want to exit out this sketch. So there's a couple ways that I can exit out the sketch. I can go up here to my command manager, and there is an exit sketch tool. I can click on that, or I can click here. These do the same thing. So I'm going to click here, exit sketch, and now you see that my lines turn blue. Okay, now let's make my box a solid box. Right now it's just two-dimensional. I want it to make a real solid box. So I'm going to go to my command manager and click on the features tab. Take a second and see where am I going to click. My command managers and my features tab. Yep, I'm going to go right here. Here's my command manager and here's my features tab. I'm going to click on the features tab. Now all my features tools have become available to me. Now the tool that we want to use to make our box a solid box is this one. It says extruded boss base. Extruded boss base. You can kind of think as extruded as you're making something extrude. You're pulling it apart and you're making it solid. Okay, so I'm going to click on extruded boss base. And over here, and now you see what happens. Your project or your rectangle starts to have a little bit of volume, but it doesn't have enough volume. And over here, you see this field over here, this menu. This tool right here shows you how deep or how thick I want to make my box. Right now it's not very thick. It's a 0.10. That's pretty thin. I want to make it thicker, so I'm going to change it to 3. I'm going to change it to 3. And now I'm going to click on my check mark here, or I can click on the check mark here and watch what happens. Okay, I clicked on the check mark and it changed my box to 3 inches. Okay, I would click my check mark again if I had another check mark. And here is my box. Uh-oh, something else happened. I can't see the full box. It's off the screen. Do you remember what I can push to bring my image back to the center? Right, exactly. We're going to click on Fit to Zoom, our magnifying glass in our overhead toolbar. Click on it and it brings it right back to the middle. That is great. So I want you to go ahead and I want you to practice making a box. I want you to make a box that is 5 by 7. A 5 by 7 rectangular box. Go ahead and do that yourself now.